Hi everyone, I'm so glad to have you here. This video is part of a video hop for Honeybee Stamps. This is going to be showing off their new release, but we're also going to look at Lunar Paste, Vellum, Vellum Plus Lunar Paste. We're just going to do a lot of fun things in this video at the same time. And since it is part of a video hop, make sure that at the end of the video that you hop to the next person, leave a comment, subscribe, and that will enter you to win prizes from Honeybee Stamps. So we will be using this product a lot during this video. It is the Lovely Layers Sweetheart Roses. And I'll show you some tips and tricks on layering these, as well as all of this fun stuff that we're going to do with Lunar Paste. We're going to make our own cardstock. We're going to use it on a stencil. We're going to use it on vellum. And I think you're just going to love this color and how it looks and gives such a vintage feel. Now you could use any kind of paste that you have. You can use this stencil like regular ink blending. I just really wanted to take a dark background, and this is the vintage Flourish stencil. It really looks to me like vintage wallpaper. And so when I think of vintage wallpaper, I think of like really dark greens, dark reds, with some gold accents to them. So that is what I'm going to create for the background of our card. This color of gold from the Lunar Paste is Gold Rush. This is a more vintagey color gold than some of their others. So of course I will link that in the supply list for you so you can see which one I'm using. So I'm going to skip ahead to the reveal because who doesn't love a stencil reveal? And I'm going to show you this. I just think that looks so awesome and vintagey, and we're going to add all kinds of elements to this that are really going to make this card go. So now I'm going to make my own cardstock with the Lunar Paste. So I used just a scrap piece of paper and I pasted it on, just tried to keep it from having too many lines. Using a big spreader like this really helps, but I'm being kind of a mess with it because right now what I want to do with this is I'm going to cut some die cuts out of it, and I only really need one. It's a big vase. So I just went on and created this scrap piece, and we'll let that dry. Next, I'm going to cut out some vellum. This is Hero Arts vellum, and I'm using this heart die that is made to go with the embossing folder, but we're not going to use the embossing folder on this card. We're just going to use the vellum heart. Now you'll notice that I put on gloves. That's because we're going to add Lunar Paste to our beautiful heart here. I'm going to grab a sticky mat. This sticky mat is well loved, as you can see, but I'm going to stick this to the sticky mat just so it stays where I want it to, and so that I don't worry about getting the Lunar Paste all over the back of this, because you've got it on your hands and you don't want to get it all over the vellum. We're trying to just outline the vellum. And nothing super fancy, just using my finger to just make a line. I'm trying to keep it generally even. It's about the width of my finger. And just getting this wonderful Gold Rush Lunar Paste onto the vellum, okay? So this is a wet product and you're putting it on vellum, which is very fragile. So just be gentle. Make sure that you don't oversaturate it. I kind of try to rub the excess off, but also know that there might be a little bit of warping, but I'm going to show you how to fix that for your card. This nice gold area here does not show adhesive through it, so we'll be able to tape it down relatively easy. I know sometimes it's hard to deal with vellum because it is difficult to stick it to the paper, but this nice gold outline gives us the perfect hiding place to put all of our adhesive as well. Look at how gorgeous this is. You can see it's warping just a little bit. Like I said, we will fix it, but it's just so nice, and you're going to be able to see that beautiful vintage Flourish stencil behind it. I think y'all are going to love this. Let me show you briefly how to put together the Sweetheart Roses and how I ink blended them. So I used Catherine Pooler ink. I started out with Matcha, which is a very light green, and then I realized with that very dark green background, I needed to go a little bit darker. So I went on and covered that up with Sage, which is a little darker green, and then we're going to add some highlights in an even darker one called Spruce. Quick little tip for you. It's nice to go ahead and do all the green at the same time. You'll see that I like to do the layers even for each flower at the same time. It just helps. You've got that color out already and you don't have to get it back out. So this is all the greenery, all the extra leaves, and I'm adding this spruce to all of these leaves. And I'm going to darken up this piece pretty significantly, just so that it looks good with the background. To get even darker dimension, I use this little waffle flower brush. It's just kind of a flat tipped brush and it helps me get those nice edges around my ink blending. So I go with a big brush to get color and then I use this little brush to get around all these little bitty leaves. Now, each of the bunches of dies, you'll notice how Honeybee does their dies. They have like a bunch of flowers that's all in a connected die, and that kind of helps you with the layering. So I started to do this on my regular mat, and then I realized these little pieces, it's much easier to do this on a sticky mat. So I'm using my waffle flower media mat here, or sticky mat, and I'm putting all the little pieces down, and I'm going to pretty much do the same coloring on all of them. And we're going to use 3 different colors from Catherine Pooler. Our lightest color is going to be Catherine Pooler Rose Petals, and I'm just going to, go around each of these petals and make them completely covered with this color, and then we're going to come in from the edges and add some depth. So here's how that color looks. Our next color is going to be Catherine Pooler Rouge, and this is a red color, okay? So it's definitely red. You can see as I tap it off that it is, but I'm only coming in from the edges and just giving each of these a little bit of depth. So I'm using a smaller blending brush for this rouge color. It is still a round brush, but it's a little bit smaller, which gives me more color concentration. So you see I'm just adding to the bottoms of each of these petals, a little bit to the top of each petal, and that will have that color taken care of. Now we're going to move to our darkest color. Okay, so for this last one, you'll see that I'm using that waffle flower kind of flat brush again. I will link these for you. I did have to kind of hold them on my sticky pad just a little bit because this brush is very firm, and I'm adding some extra depth. So since this is even a smaller brush and it's got that real thin line, you can really add a lot of color to the edges of your flowers without too much trouble. Now I can start assembling my flowers. I've laid all my flowers out how they're supposed to go, and I can start gluing them on. They do all have a little point or a little curve or something that helps you know that they fit together, and there are so many layers. This big flower, I think, has 5 layers. There's really only 3 flowers on this bush, but they've got so many layers, it really gives it a lot of depth. So another reason I wanted to play with that lunar paste is because I can make this vase match exactly. I love color coordinating. So the vase has several pieces. I made the cardstock earlier in the video, and then I went once it was dry, used the dies from the set, and cut them all out. So to me, this is an easy way to use your lunar paste. It can make its own cardstock and coordinate your whole card. But even besides that, it is a much easier way if you don't have any gold cardstock or if you don't have the specific color that you're looking for, but you have it in a paste, you can just make your own. It's really awesome. So I didn't have this color gold in anything else. I really wanted this vintagey gold color, and the lunar paste was the best that I had. And so I'm so excited that I made the cardstock. The final card, you're going to love it. So now all there is to put it together and decide how I'm going to have this card set up. I did stamp some sentiments from Eternal Love to decide what I was going to put on this card, and most of them would be fine. I looked at this one first, and then I ended up changing it to Love You More. Make sure that you go to the next video in the video hop by looking in the description of this one. I'm going to show you some final pictures, but I don't want you to miss out on all of our lovely designers from Honeybee and all their hard work to make this video hop for you. And as a bonus, of course, you get a chance to win gift cards to Honeybee Stamps. So make sure you put that information there so that you're entered in the giveaway. Now, this is one of those cards that photos just don't do it justice because you can't see all of its sparkle and shine, but it is so impressive in person. So I'm trying to show you in different lights how shiny and beautiful and perfectly coordinated it is. I love that. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Make sure, like I said, that you hop along to the next person in the video hop. Everything that you need to know will be linked in the description below. And I also will link all of the items that I used in this video. So make sure you go through those links if you're shopping today. I appreciate you being here. Have a great day. Bye.